This is the award-winning Lee Pitts Live.
Brought to you by the North Law Firm. For car accidents and negligent security cases, call Joe at 239-337-1191. And by Lee Health.
Southwest Florida, welcome to another edition of Lee Pitts Live. Where are we now? Well, if you see me wearing this tie and my Sunday best jacket, I'm at the Fort Myers Police Department. Got on my finest blues. The accommodations have been outstanding. Big shout out to Chief Diggs for inviting Lee Pitts Live here to tape 4 weeks of shows. First time we've ever brought out a television show into a police department. That's a fabulous lineup of guests here today. We get a chance to talk to Dr. Saleem Hylton. He's the Director of Community Engagements for the Fort Myers Police Department. We also have back here on the show Angela McClary, chapter leader, Fort Myers Parents of Murdered Children. All that's happening on this show. And in the last part of our show, we get a chance to talk to Ronnie Tape. Yes, that Ronnie Tape, who was incarcerated. He's gotten out, and now he's a realtor in the community, and he has a message for the children. You'll see my interview with him as well. All that's happening on Lee Pitts Live. We'll be right back. You know, Ron. Southwest Florida, welcome back to Lee Pitts Live. So glad you put us on your list of things to do, and you're going to be delighted as well. We have two fabulous guests here, so let's bump them in to the show. Dr. Hylton and, of course, Angela McClary. Welcome to Lee Pitts Live.
Thank you for having us.
It's just great to get you here. Angela, you are so active in the community. Tell us your title and what your organization does.
My title is the chapter leader of the Parents of Murdered Children Fort Myers chapter. And this organization came about because of my son, Deontay Redding and Zachary Blue. They were brothers that was murdered. And I needed something or someone to kind of relate to what I was going through. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to help people such as I to go through their grieving process, and also for several things. We're a self-help support group, and we also support accompaniment people attending trials of their loved ones, and also we follow that once they are arrested and go into prison. We also follow that to make sure that they stay in prison with whatever they're doing. Mm-hmm. And this group also have what we call a second opinion, and if we feel that our local organizations, our law enforcement are not doing the best of their ability, we have the nationals where we can contact professionals as well to answer questions.
Well, that's a lot on your plate, but you're really involved in that process. Tell me, you also involved with the Fort Myers Police Department. You have a position here on a board. Tell us about that. What's the name of it?
Yes, it's called the Clergy Police Community Partnership. It started almost a year ago, and I wanted to be involved in my community, and I am the actual treasury of that. And what that consists of, that we're coming together as a unified body, and because of the police department, we need to find a unity because there is so much that has taken place in our community that there's a lot of hurting. And there's a lot of distrust. And I'm hoping that this organization would bring what we need that we have been lacking for so many years.
So far, you feel like progress has been made?
Yes, and I believe that because of the Dr. Hyltons have came aboard and brought this ideal to our community and to our city, there's hope that we can find some type of a closure as well as some stability. That's what we need in our community.
Dr. Hylton, it's so good to get you here, a renowned person of your stature. The community engagement for the City of Fort Myers Police Department, you're pretty much leading that, the director. When you hear the word community, when we hear the word community engagement, what should come to our mind?
Well, initially, Brother Pitts, Chief Diggs wanted to have a community engagement initiative to create better relationships between the police department and the community at large. And so when we were contacted to come in here, we immediately thought that we needed to create relationships in the community. so that we can do an assessment of what's going on and what's the real nature of what's going on in the community. So we realized that there was a lack of trust between the two entities. So when we talk about community engagement, initially what comes to mind is how can we improve the trust between the community and the police department.
How would you describe the initiative right now? If we were looking at it in PowerPoint presentation, it is what?
Well, right now, based on what Angela was speaking of, what we thought we needed to do, because our greatest challenge that was presented to us when we came here to the city was that we wanted to bring the clergy into the fold because of the fact that the pastors of the church represent so many people, large groups of people in their respective parishes. So that was what we intended to do. So that's what we did. We reached out, talked to some pastors, met some pastors. My wife and I, who is she's really the head of the company, she and I went to services and worship with a lot of the pastors and even went over to the mosque and worshiped with the brother Muhammad over there so that we can just let people know who we are, see who they are, to let them know that we're people that you can really trust and depend on. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're doing right now, is creating those relationships between the clergy and the community.
You mentioned a company. What company is that? And tell us, I would assume that in your company, you've done these types of projects with law enforcement in the country. Tell us a success story along that way as well.
Okay, yeah. The name of our company is Youth and Families in Crisis, LLC. And we're actually incorporated in Suitland, Maryland, but we also have a charter in the District of Columbia. And we have a CPCP in the District of Columbia that we have partnered with for a number of years. And what they have been doing is, initially they set up to do just what we're talking about doing, improving the relationships between the community and the police department. But once they began to move forward with the support of our company and some of the other people, because it's all about partnerships, they were able to put themselves in a position, being a 501c3 organization, to obtain a number of grants from the city. And at that point, because of the effectiveness of the work of administering grants and managing programs, they became the real parent and fiduciary organization for a number of other organizations in the community, which is the vision for what the FM CPCP organization is going to be doing from our vision, for them to be put in the same posture to be the fiduciary of many of the programs that particularly address the needs of the youth in the city.
I see. Now, Angela, talk about your relationship and experiences so far in working with Dr. Hylton and other clergy into what you guys are trying to accomplish. How's that been going?
It's been going great.
Give us some specifics on some things you're doing.
Okay, currently, because we're just getting started, our onset, we have actually have gotten our name, Sunbiz, and we're now have processed to be 501c3. And what we do each month, we get together and talk about the plans on how we're going to bring it out to the community. And that's where the stage are now. We're planning on doing a meet and greet. And with the Hyltons involved, they come down periodically, and a lot of times if they can't make it, we have the phone conferences.
Okay, so we're gonna go to a break. When we come back, we're gonna find out more about the importance of funding, what it's going to do. We also find out about Family Fun Day and go to some other points. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're here sitting talking to some community leaders who are really marrying their expertise with the Fort Myers Police Department to get the community engaged in making our community a better place. We have Dr. Hylton and we have Angela McClary. Welcome back to Leap Hits Live.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you.
Okay, before we left, you talked about funding. You know, money plays a huge role in getting what done.
Well, initially, Brother Pitts, it will allow the people, particularly those who are very committed to the community, to perhaps be positioned to receive a salary to do things on behalf of their city.
Gotcha.
And that's why I say that we need a capacity building grant so that we can hire some people from the city. Another thing that we're doing here is that we're hiring, as a consulting company, people that reside here to help us with this initiative. So,
And then you already got a TV show now to help you get the word out.
how about that?
We'll be having that conversation. Angela, I want to make sure I get this in because I'm just loving this all together. Talk about your parents' murdered children's family fun day.
Well, we started.
When is it happening? That kind of thing.
Last year, we started it as an anniversary. Our first anniversary was being in existence as Parents of Murdered Children in Fort Myers. And it was a success. And this year would be the second anniversary that we were going to be having it on July the 28th, which is on a Saturday. It's going to be from 12 to 5. And the purpose of this Family Fun Day is to bring awareness of what the Parents of Murdered Children organization is all about.
Great idea.
And it's not just about parents, it's about anyone that has been affected by murder, and also to bring unity with different venues, stakeholders, such as the police department, such as the state attorney office, and as well as the family in crisis organizations to assist us in this. And we're just having a family day.
Where is this taking place?
It's going to be at Clementi Park off of Martin Luther King Boulevard.
What time does it start?
It's going to start at 12 o'clock.
And it's absolutely free?
It's free, hot dogs, hamburgers. We're going to have the whole 9 yards, picnic style, fun and games. And also, we will have a donation basket set up to help us with this organization.
I know you got a website, pomc.org, but if people want to call you as well, what's the number they can call you?
My number is 239-839-4348, and it's also on the website.
Okay, good. When you look 3 years from now, what do you hope would have been accomplished in this area that would make you feel like really things are changing?
That we will have a safe place to work and play, and I can visualize our children running freely, not have to worry about bullets plaguing our playgrounds, and that I see the police departments and the police officers coming together and being part of our community, not just being there to arrest someone, but also being a friend and also directing our youth as well as families as a unified body. And even with that, even just helping the ones that they know have committed crimes to get back on track and have a better life.
Dr. Hylton, do you feel pretty comfortable to say that her wishes will more than likely come true?
I will say so. And one of the particular programs or projects that we're undertaking in partnership with Keith White over at STARS for the second year, and that is on his, it was a national effort, the prevention of gun violence in the city. We worked with him last year, and he wants to do it bigger. In fact,
Keith White.
I'm going to go meet with him.
You got a good man, Keith White.
I'm going to meet with him when we leave here, right? And so what we're going to do, we run these community conversations. And what
Keith, we're making you famous.
What these community conversations do, we bring the community together and we allow them in a circle to talk about the matters that's going on in the community. And Keith wants to have a theme this year of resolution and restoration of the community. So we're going to have 3 different age groups, probably from 8 to 14, 15 to 25, and then the older generation, and they're going to be in the separate groups and separate circles, and we're going to just allow them to talk and come up with some solutions that we can try to make a difference with.
When you start dropping names like Keith White off the top of your head, I know you're talking to some good people. Also, when I see you walking around with people like Larry Aguilar, I know you're talking to some good people. So you're on your way. Over the past 18 months, tell us what are some things that have been accomplished with the community engagement.
Well, when we first came here, we had a series of community forums with the police department, with all of the officers, plus the administrative staff here at the Fort Myers Police Department. And we were able to get a lot of information and got to get some feelings from them, get an idea of how they feel about the people in the community and vice versa. Then we had groups with the community. We had an idea, got some ideas about how they would, what their feelings were about the law enforcement. It kind of helped us get a good idea about how we should proceed. We also had a gathering at the Kerry Robinson Center of both police and community. And they came together, and that was such a wonderful experience because there were several police officers said they had never been that close to a community citizen since they've been on the law enforcement.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? So that was just the beginning of what we've been doing. But we've been coming back on a series of visits. We helped establish this CPCP organization. We are creating all kinds of relationships. Like you said, the people that we've been meeting around here, just some wonderful people. And I'm a very spiritual person. And I'm just watching how the universe is bringing all of the key elements and the key stakeholders to us to make this happen. And that's why I'm so optimistic that this is going to happen, Brother Pitts, because I feel strongly that it is spirit-driven.
What is restoration justice? Restorative
justice is really an alternative to addressing crime and the harm that takes place in the community. When there's a crime or misbehavior that has been committed, there's always some harm that's been caused. And what restorative justice does is to try to find out how we can repair the harm from some way of a crime, and as well as how we can find alternative ways of handling the offender who committed the crime, as opposed to locking them up. This is so many of our people in terms of mass incarceration, people that are in prisons and in jails for nominal or minimal crimes that, according to this philosophical approach to life, the community as a village could handle it themselves and not call law enforcement if we can get those relationships together, which will be a relief to the community as well as law enforcement. Law enforcement won't have to be quite as busy, but we know that we have to get, like in other cities, like I've traveled all over the country training judges and police departments, public defenders and what have you. We know we have to get the judges and the courts involved in this process. That's why we know that when we first were asked to come here, Chief Diggs said, probably for 18 to 2 years. But I'm going to tell you, we're 18 months in, and then we had the storm here and everything, which delayed things. We know that it's going to take a considerable amount more time for us to get this job done.
How optimistic are you about the future and the Parents of Murdered Children organization being an integral part in that process?
Well, I'm very optimistic. You have to have hope, and just like I'm very spiritual as well. And when I go out to do something, I put my all in it. And I just want the community to know that this is not just my organization. It doesn't belong to me. I just started it for the community. And it takes a village, and it takes the community to bring back a lot of the justice that and harm has been done. And we have to recognize that everything that happened in our past, we have to move forward past that and heal from what we have lost, and hoping and gaining from the future of people that have come in to assist us in areas that we have long been forgotten about.
Well, it's just been a pleasure to have both of you here. I feel good knowing that these types of partnerships are being formed, and that people are boots on the ground, building relationships and improving our community. Keep up the good work, and of course, you guys will be back on Leap His Live in the future.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Okay, let's bump you out.
One more time.
Yeah. As the saying goes on this particular show, for those who say it can't be done, they're usually interrupted by those like these fine people who are doing it. When we come back, we'll have our conversation with Ron Tape.